afternoon. And we're live, just as I said that. So good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. We're just doing another quick chat on Legends of the Digital World. I have Cohen on, we're gonna talk about. We've been talking for a bit, and some of the stuff that Ty is doing on Amazon and Kindling. I was going to say Kindle is absolutely amazing. So, guys, if you like the video, as always, share it out. We want to bring as many people on. As we said, Legends starts on the 17th of March. It's going to run for 10 days now. So there's a lot of fantastic legends like Ty coming on. So Ty, rather than me kind of introducing you, why don't you give the people a bit of history, and I'll actually shut up, which is very hard to get me to do. I am warning you.
Absolutely. So one of my things is I teach people how to self-publish on Amazon's Kindle direct publishing platform. I actually got my start with Amazon maybe about 12, 13 years ago. Would you believe that Amazon's been around for 20 years now? Like, it's insane. So I got my start about 13 years ago with Amazon. They had a program called the Amazon Advantage program, and that was basically for people that had print books. So if you had a physical print book, what you could do is you could ship, 50, 60, 100 of them to Amazon, and they would list it on their site. And then they would handle the order taking, the fulfillment, the refunds, and everything else, right? So I actually did so well with that. I grew that business to about a six-figure-a-year business that they invited me to become a beta tester for a new platform that they were releasing at that time. And it was the Kindle Direct Publishing platform. Now, in my head, I thought, who's going to want to buy digital books, like ebooks, right? Internet marketers, we were familiar with that concept, but I thought everyone else, no one's going to want to buy that. Boy, was I wrong. I was totally wrong. The first time that I ever, really appreciate being wrong, because usually but I ended up getting that business to a point where, I ended up generating between $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a month selling digital ebooks on Amazon's Kindle platform. And what I did was, we were talking about Matt Basak, right? So Matt's a good friend, and I got all of my buddies together. I put together this course and shared this series, right, of steps that I take to do this with people. So basically, it's a 3-step process, and maybe we'll talk about some of that as well. But it's basically putting yourself in front of Amazon, leveraging their platform, leveraging the almost 1 billion individuals that they have with credit cards on file, and being able to sell your books in front of those people.
Yeah, I do think one of the cleverest things that's come out in the last kind of 2 decades is the ability for people to be able to pay without having to put their credit card in. It just eliminates that barrier. It's so nice.
Yeah, well, nice for Amazon. It's like we have here in the UPS, right? Well, you guys have UPS. UPS truck is pulling up at my house every 2 or 3 days because Amazon makes it so easy to buy, right? You're not even thinking that I'm literally... Spending money is not thought of in the same sense as if you went in your pocket and you pulled out a physical dollar and had to spend it, right? So they're very clever in that sense.
Yeah, I think Jobs did the same with the phone and the rest of it, that you can just buy with a password. You put in your details and don't worry, we look after everything else. It's genius.
Right.
I'm smiling at the fact you're saying Amazon is so old, because I think it might be older than 20 years, because I was part of a business group, right? I used to be in the ceramic tile business, and I was part of a business group, and one of the guys came in one of the nights and said, I bought a book online on this thing called Amazon. What? You bought a book? When did you go to the bookstore and buy it? Oh, I couldn't get the book while I could get it on this thing Amazon. So we actually ran a betting book, right? We all put £5 in at the time to see whether he would get the book or not get the book, right?
Oh, wow.
Whether this was a con. Like, this goes back hard. And I bet that he was never going to get it.
Right.
I was wrong as well.
So you were wrong. Yeah. Amazon's made a lot of people wrong, right?
Well, it was around 2000, so like slightly just before. So it was in around the whole .com bubble stuff, right? So, like we were getting a lot of guys coming into us saying, invest in our company. It doesn't make anything. It doesn't sell anything, but it's got a website. It's like,
yes.
What? Right, interesting. No, Google made a lot of money out of that afterwards, to be fair to them. So, some people may have published, some people may not know what to publish. If I'm starting out, say, in the world, and I'm looking at, give me the advantages of being a published author on Kindle.
Yeah, so the advantages are number one, one of the biggest things, right, for anyone that's starting a business is you look for the traffic. You've been in this thing forever, right? And you probably see that one of the biggest mistakes that people make is they come up with this idea, and we hear them all the time, but they haven't decided if there's people that's going to buy it, right? Or if there's people that are interested in it, or if you're going to take out their credit card and say, okay, yeah, let me get a copy or whatever. So, and that's why restaurants and brick and mortar businesses go out of business left and right. One of the reasons, right? They have an obscurity problem. Not enough people know about them. So being able to publish on Amazon gives you that ability if you do your market research the right way. So that's one of the first steps that I teach people, and I show them how to go in, conduct the market research to find out not only if there's interest, but if there's buying interest. Because you could have interest, right? And the interest is coming from a bunch of 9-year-olds. We both have children, right? But the parents are not as interested in going in and buying that toy for the 9-year-old. So it has to be buying interest. So
yeah, absolutely. I like the expression, they have to vote with the credit cards, because this is something I learned 30 years ago in marketing, and a guy, he was actually an American guy that came over, and that was very extraordinary back then to go to a seminar with somebody compared to what we're talking about, what you can do today. And he said, like, people vote with the credit cards. The result is people vote with the credit cards. So you go on to Kindle, and you're doing the market research, which is vital, and then the next step, publish it, and how difficult it is for people starting out. Is this very technical? Is it straightforward to do?
No, it's very straightforward. If it was technical, I wouldn't be able to do it. So that's one of the things that I love about it, right? So it's very straightforward. And I joke about this stuff, right? But I think that for anyone who doesn't have any business experience, who's just starting out, Amazon has totally changed the landscape. Not only has they changed this for the publishing industry, right? To the point where anyone could get it, right? Before, when Amazon first got started, their primary purpose was to become the world's largest bookstore. And I think they did that. One of the reasons why they were able to do that was by making their platform available to almost anyone that has content. So they said, hey, Anthony, you have content, we've got a platform, right? This is the peanut butter and jelly here, right? So in the U.S., peanut butter and jelly sandwiches are, at least if you're 9 years old or 10 years old. So Amazon says, we have the peanut butter, this is the platform, we've got the traffic, we've got the customers with credit cards, you have the jelly, which is the content. Let's put it together, we both make money. So in that sense, they also did something that I think is beautiful, and that is they simplified the process. You take your content, you upload it, you fill out a couple of fields, and now it's available. They knew that if it was too complicated, they would alienate a ton of people, right? Which would then be bad for them. So they said, as easy as possible, and we get as much content as possible. Boom. Overnight, they're now the world's largest bookstore. They put out, they put businesses such as Waterstones and Barnes & Nobles and, Books A Millions out of business literally in just a matter of years.
Yeah, they have completely revolutionized the industry.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you were saying earlier, there's over 1 billion people?
There's almost 1 billion people that have credit card numbers on file with Amazon. So Amazon and Apple are like neck and neck, and that's insane, isn't it? Like, they literally have a country, right? If you take that,
and there's only 4 million in Ireland, so they have a lot more than a country.
Right. So, but it's, they've in 2 decades, right? They've totally changed this thing, and it's to their benefit.
And what would you say to somebody if they said the marketplace is crowded now, that there's so much stuff up there that you can't get forward?
Great question. So there's been books that have been published for, ever, as long as you could think about it, right? As a matter of fact, here on my desk here, I've got Work the System, which is by Sam Carpenter. And if you've probably heard of this book before, so this is basically a book about setting up systems and processes in your business to make your flows simpler. There's a gazillion books out there on the same topic. I own maybe about a half dozen of them. I own The 4-Hour Work Week, right, by Tim Ferriss. I own The E-Myth by Michael Gerber. I own a ton of others that I can't name off because they're not as popular, right? But there's always, if you get someone like me that's rabid, that wants the information, they're going to buy everything that you have. And I see that. So what I teach my students is to publish in series, right? You can never publish just 1 or 2 books. That's the biggest thing, and I really usually make people pay to get that information. To be honest with you.
Well, the fail here, guys, is you're going to have to come on the webinar to get all of the full information on how to do this.
Right.
In the masterclass.
So, but see, and that's the thing though. So a lot of people will publish 1 or 2 books, and that's not it. You publish 1 or 2 books, and you piggyback and you piggyback and you piggyback. A perfect example of someone that does this very well and has done it before Amazon is James Patterson. Dude has like 116 books or something, I think, right?
Yeah.
And he's just crushing it. Over $700 million worth of sales collectively.
Wow.
Like that's insane, right? He's hit the New York Times bestseller list dozens of times. He's got a ton of ghostwriters, so he's not writing all of his content himself, right? Because he realizes leveraging the time and expertise of other people is crucial too.
If he's got that many books, how could he?
Yes, absolutely, right? So, I mean, he would have no life. But, I mean, he's just crushing it. And the guy's like 71 years old, I think. He just had a birthday recently. I was looking it up. I think it's in March, actually, because my son's birthday is in March. But he has it. He understands it, which is why the money follows him, right? Yeah. So I see the same thing for myself and a lot of my students as well who publish content, who take that initial book, then take the proceeds that it generates and continue flipping it, right, until you build an empire. So, yeah.
So, without giving away everything, because guys, you do have to come to the masterclass to actually, get what all the secrets Ty is going to be sharing with you, because the masterclasses are going to be an hour and a half anyway, at least, so there'll be an awful lot more content in. But just kind of on the frame, it doesn't matter whether you're starting out or whether you're advanced, this works. You find out something, so you find your niche, your section of the market that's going to work, and then you just keep stacking up.
Absolutely. And I show them on the masterclass, we'll talk about this, right? We're going through to what I call my part system. We'll talk about the 3 things that you need to do to almost guarantee your success, right? So I talk to a ton of people because I've been doing this forever, on live events, speaking from the stage, just everywhere. And usually when someone's book is not selling to the degree that they want it to, there's a few things that they could tweak and they can boost those sales. So we'll talk about that, whether you have a book already or whether you're just starting out the gate, right? When I created the system, I actually used my daughter. We were talking about children before this, right? So I used my daughter, Maya, who's 19 now. When she was 15 at the time, I revised my system and I gave it to her. Right? Sort of as my guinea pig. And I said, if Maya can get this at 15 and put this system in place, then I know that anyone can do it. You could be 15, you could be 150, and you could do this. So that was it.
And what about the fear with people? Because, there's always fears, and fears are always the things that stop us taking steps forward. What about the fear of, I don't know, I wouldn't have anything to write about?
Well, that's a beautiful thing. Great question. So here's the thing. I'm going to show you how to find topics and genres and niches that you can write about. Listen, I'm in a ton of different niches that I have no clue about, nor do I care to know about, right? Things like growing tomatoes and wedding planning and, hopefully my wife doesn't hear me, right? But I could care less about that. What I do care about is the fact that it generates a profit. So I think if you have a fear of not being the expert, listen, there's experts that are beyond experts at doing things that still have that fear of people thinking that they're not truly an expert. Right? So we hear about that all the time. So I think that's not something that you have to worry about. And I'm going to show you how to really rock it, even if you have no clue on how to do anything other than watch a summit.
So the last question, just to put everybody out, because you mentioned this before, how many people have you helped over the years, do you reckon?
Right now in our so I have over 7,000 students that I've personally helped. Right now in our Facebook group, we have about 1,100 students. As far as speaking to in groups and from the stage and on webinars, over 100,000.
So guys, that's one of the reasons he's a legend, and that's why he's on Legends, is because he's doing this long enough. Like everybody else that's coming on, they're doing this. They're not new to it. They're all have proven track records, know what to talk about, and I am really looking forward to it because I have a couple of books on Kindle which didn't work, so I'm going to be sitting there making a ton of notes myself to find out where did I mess up, and how to, turn around. Really looking forward to it. Ty, thanks very much for your time. I know you're a busy man, so we won't take up any more of your time. Guys, Ty will be on Legends. The schedules will be announced. You got to register to find out the schedule. That's the deal. You want to know when everybody's on, register. Seats are free. They're filling up fast, so you need to get moving. And the first one kicks off on Saturday, the 17th of March, of course, which is St. Patrick's Day, and judging by the accent, you can see why. So, guys, thanks for watching. Ty, again, thanks very much for your time. And, guys, we'll talk to you again very, very soon. Take care.